What's up, AVP Galaxy? Well, here I am with a tutorial. Well, somewhat of a tutorial. It's my first time doing such a thing, so see how I do. Okay, anyway, I'm going to show you how I did the Tarna shuttle. See, first I had the concept sketch, if you remember. See the way it's shaped, and it has these arms and stuff, which I don't have on the model because I couldn't find anything to build them with, really. I was going to use straws and stuff, which okay, I don't know where they are anyway. Yeah, so I didn't build them. Why bother? So anyway, so you see the basic shape, the basic design here, the window design, and how the configuration of the turbines, the boosters. I have some here, different kinds of directional ones, some antennas and stuff. So all that shape I wanted to copy into the model. So what I did is I took this board. There was a board that was inside a box for a toy that I had, and the box was just sitting there. I wasn't doing anything with it, so I figured it's got an interesting length. It's about the same length as in the model, so I decided, okay, I'll use that and build everything on top of it. So I took the board, and then I found this race car. I had this Formula 1 race car, and I pretty much cannibalized that of parts. I even used some parts for it on the aeronaut model. I'll show you that one later. So inside the cockpit, you can't see it now because it's concealed, but in there I had the steering wheel and all that stuff for the race car, and then I built this windshield first on top of that, all that window design on top of the race car dashboard and stuff, and then there's a steering wheel in there, and I tried to make a control panel in there, but that became kind of useless once these windows became so fogged up. You can't see anything. Then for the rest of the body, I went ahead and took cassettes, and they're not whole cassettes, as you can see, they're in half. So I pretty much broke a cassette in half and used the two halves right here for this part of the wall and for the other side here. And to keep them from collapsing, I went ahead and put one of, let's see, what was it? It was a case to one of the cassettes. I broke that in half and used that as part of the roof here to keep these two walls together. And then I did the same over here on this side. So under there, under all this stuff, is pretty much cassette pieces and the covers the cassettes. Now the boosters are actually made from, what are those? They're extensions to, you could put long metal pipes. They're extensions for metal pipes. These are made of metal. So, and then this thing here was made from one of my glue containers. Let's see if I can pick one up. Ah, here it is. It's made from one of these super glue containers. Yeah. So I was careful to come up with, you know, the various shapes here, and I had to look for things that would fit that profile, and miraculously I had the tops to prescription bottles to go over the openings here, and they matched those almost perfectly. See, that's the thing. When you draw a concept for a model, the model will sometimes only turn out maybe 85% like the actual concept. With me, maybe even less, because I cannot afford to cannibalize other models to make these. I have to basically recycle a whole bunch of garbage and steal pieces from motherboards and stuff in order to get all that detail on there. You can even spot, you know, like this is obvious and these are obvious, you know, and this is obvious. That's a shell casing for a .45 caliber. And yeah, these are prescription bottles. This is probably the same ones that these tops go to. You just put a bunch of junk over that for those boosters there. Just these prescription bottles. Mash the two together and then put something over it. And all these wires to look like pipes. Yeah, those are actually wires. These. Just loose wires like these, and I carefully bent them into these pipes. And my drawing just moved to the floor. Yeah. And the windows, before they were fogged up, they were clear. How did I do that? Well, I had this kind of plastic, here's a bigger, here it is, big sheet of it. This is that stuff you find on packaging, blister packaging for like toys and stuff, or those big boxes you see like toy tanks and, you know, army toys, stuff like that. Oh, forget it. So yeah, I cut pieces out of that for windows and stuff. It's a nice little trick. And just glue them together and little frames. You could do the frame first, or you could bend the plastic stuff and then put a frame over it. That's kind of what I did with this window, but that is not what I did with this one. I actually did the frame first and then did the windows and then put another frame over that. This one I just bent the plastic, glued it there, then put a frame over it. You could do it either way. And now I painted it with just your basic dull and boring primer. Yeah, you don't want to do anything real special. You don't want to have this real shiny kind of gray or anything. You want real dull and stuff. If it's too shiny, it's too obvious that it's a model and stuff. When it's dull like this, the light reflects on it a little bit differently, and it looks, I don't know, it just looks a little bit bigger on screen, a little bit more believable. I don't know how that works, but just going by experience from how I'm filming this stuff. Oh yeah, you can even use the packaging of, like, see these here? This is actually the blister packaging for my my glue. So when I go to the dollar store and get more glue, I'll just recycle the old packaging from the empty containers and then use the empty containers, of course. So yeah, just use your broken tools as far as the creation. And as far as like on the aeronaut or on here, when you have structures that'll be made of like cardboard and stuff, get the cardboard from whatever box. Like I'm using a pizza box for all my, you know, other structures and stuff. And so that's pretty much that. Now I guess I could show you how I did some stuff. Let me bring out and get some of my supplies here and bring them out to my work table. Oh yeah, where'd that wire go? Blue wire. Where'd the blue wire go? Oh, forget it. I'll just take a wire out of here. These are easier to bend anyway. And that ladder is what I use as like a tripod, because I don't have a tripod. It's got like these little grooves and stuff, so when I situate the camera, it doesn't slip, and that's real helpful. So, see if I could zoom here. I guess that's good enough. Let me go get that magic pizza box. Now remember, the structure can be made of anything, so whatever. Skip that part. This is going to be my structure. This is going to be our structure. I'm going to paint it with the primer. Okay. Now, first I'm going to glue on some of those little techie details. Now, the details can be pretty much anything. Like this is a diode for a motherboard, computer motherboard. You could use anything for detail, really. Like even on this, I used Snapple bottle caps. So yeah, anything you're throwing away. So, okay, now we need glue. The kind of glue I use is this gel kind. I actually like the liquid kind a little bit better, but this gel stuff is okay, especially when you're doing stuff that's tilted, like when you have it like this, and you glue things that are on the side and you want to stay. But otherwise, I like the liquid a little bit better. So yeah, glue the bottom of whatever you're working with. Now put the glue, put that, I'm going to put that right here. Now this is the thing about when you're putting that kind of junk on your model, is that you don't want it to be all randomly cobbled together. You want it to have some kind of, you want it to make some kind of symmetrical sense, you know? Don't just randomly stick it on there. It's got to have a flow to it. It's got to look mechanically correct. It's got to be symmetrical in some kind of line. Now I'm gonna do another one like one of these little diode type of things. Let's see, inside there. Figure out how you're gonna. That's what I like about this kind of glue. It dries fast, but you have just enough time to position it the way you want it to. Okay, now this is the tricky part. You kind of get used to it the more you build these models, but it is tricky first time. Where'd that wire go? That's right, we're gonna do the wire trick. Now here's your wire. I'm gonna really bend it. And, well, straighten it out. Straighten it out. Okay, that's pretty much good enough. Figure out how that is going to connect to here in an L fashion. So you figure the length. I want to cut off this part. It makes too much of a mess. Okay. You know that's too much. Now, try and bend it to the point. See that bend there? Bend it like this. I'm trying to keep it a little bit straight. See that? Perfect? Perfect, Al? Okay. Now let's measure that. Oh, just over a little bit too much. So we can bend it back. Then bend it a little bit further than what we had before. That's a little bit better. However, I'm not satisfied, so I'm going to do it a little bit further than that. As I said, this is my first tutorial, so I expect this kind of fail right now. So, yeah, that's much better, actually. Kind of straighten this out a little bit, because it's bent a little bit too much. Okay, now figure out where we're going to cut that. Right about there. So, scissors, cut that. A little bit more. Sure. Ah, that's much better. That is much better. Now you don't glue onto the wire. What you do, if I can find my glue, where'd it go? Here it is you glue on to the model the places where you're going to have the wire connect to these objects. And then we let that dry. Now, as I'm impatient, I'm now going to color it with the primer. Remember, short controlled bursts. Gotta conserve the primer, because who knows how much detail you're going to use. You could really go overboard on the details. So there you have it. That's basically how you put some of the details onto the models, like this. And then you could put other random stuff on here. It could be anywhere you like. You know, that's an example. As long as it makes some kind of symmetrical sense, you know. Yeah, that's the basics. But yeah, you could pretty much do that on really anything you find. Like this was a piece to a Formula 1 race car, the one I was telling you about earlier. Except there was two pieces on it, and I pretty much broke it, and then put them inverted the pieces together, and it formed this cockpit type of thing. And then I put tape. That's how I did this, is to conceal some of the holes and stuff. I put tape in here, then painted over that, then started putting all this detail on here like that. So I hope that answers at least some of your questions. Oh, also, I forgot. Sorry, I got a short memory on these things. This entire body is actually from a Clorox tissue box type of thing that stood like this, and you pull. There was a hole here that I covered up with this container top, where you pull the tissue out. It's a tissue dispenser thing, but